So what is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And you already know from the other videos today that the media was going to respond. And the CBS Evening News does an interview with some jackass that used to work at the EPA. And I told you guys that we were going to have probably an entire video. Well, I don't like in the entire video. Well, people are absolutely fucking retarded that are doing this and they're showing their feelings. Well, it's that video. Roll the intro. Welcome on back to TK's Garage. In today's video, we're going to look at the crybabies in the media. So sad over the EPA making decisions that rolled back emissions to the 1960s. I know some of y'all get mad because like, TK, you lose credibility because you're funny or because you act retarded or whatever. And I'm like, so what? I don't care. I don't need anybody's approval, man. That's not what I do this for. I could give two shits about somebody in the media that gets offended. They're about to be out of a job soon anyway. Needless to say, yes, the CBS Evening News did this interview. And if you haven't heard or saw yet, maybe you didn't see this earlier today, I'm going to give you the clip of EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin cutting all the most consequential day for regulations when it comes to emissions, cars, diesel trucks, semi-trucks, all of it happened today. I covered a video on this earlier, and for you guys that are like, TK, when are you going to talk about diesels? There's another video coming from diesels. It's getting late in the day for me today. I want to drop it tonight, but it might be too late. I'll probably drop it in the morning, so be on the lookout for that. But needless to say, to see CBS come with this is insane. But before we get to CBS's Crybaby Fest, let me show you, in case you didn't see it earlier, let me show you what the EPA administrator said. I got this in an email this morning from the EPA. Let me roll this for you, and then we'll come right back.
Today, I'm pleased to make the largest deregulatory announcement in U.S. history. The Environmental Protection Agency is initiating 31 historic actions to fulfill President Trump's promise to unleash American energy, revitalize our auto industry, restore the rule of law, and give power back to the states. EPA will be reconsidering many suffocating rules that restrict nearly every sector of our economy and cost Americans trillions of dollars. Our actions include the Biden administration's deeply flawed Clean Power Plan 2.0, mercury and air toxic standards, Quad O/BC, particulate matter 2.5, light, medium, and heavy car and truck rules, NESHAPs, and the so-called social cost of carbon. To advance cooperative federalism, EPA will partner with states that were universally rejected by the last administration's Good Neighbor rule. Among many other actions, today's momentous day also includes the 2009 endangerment finding, along with all actions that rely on it. I've been told the endangerment finding is considered the holy grail of the climate change religion. For me, the U.S. Constitution and the laws of this nation will be strictly interpreted and followed. No exceptions. Today, the Green New Scam ends as the EPA does its part to usher in the golden age of American success. Our actions will lower the cost of living by making it more affordable to purchase a car, heat your home, and operate a business. Jobs will be created, especially in the U.S. auto industry, and our nation will become stronger for it. From the campaign trail to day one and beyond, President Trump has delivered on his promise to unleash energy dominance and lower the cost of living. We at EPA will do our part to power the great American comeback.
So, as you can see, he said that, they're considering some regulations and other stuff when it comes to automotive are done. They are no longer requiring auto manufacturers to put emission systems on vehicles. What I mean by that is no active fuel management, no displacement on demand, no start stop, no DPF if you have a diesel, no DEF fluid on a truck if you have a diesel truck. Those are no longer required under the EPA. They're gone. Those provisions in the Clean Air Act have been rescinded, repealed. They are gone. Gone. Okay? And that caused CBS Evening News to cry like a bunch of little bitches, and let me roll that.
Today, the Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Lee Zeldin cut dozens of environmental regulations, including decades-old rules on greenhouse gases and clean water. The agency also shuttered its environmental justice offices, which work to protect disadvantaged communities from the severe impacts of pollution. For tonight's interview, we're joined by Matthew Tejada, who worked at the EPA for multiple administrations and led the EPA's environmental justice efforts. Thanks so much for being with us. The administrator said today that this is the most consequential day of deregulation in American history. How do you read the impact of today's decisions?
I would agree with them. I think it is the most consequential day in deregulation because they are taking us back to the 1960s, from before the times when we had regulations that actually cleaned up our water, protect people from across our country from cancer-causing agents in our air, actually cleaning up legacy contamination sites that people had been living on top of for generations. They are taking us back to that time when we didn't have regulations. It is not about making government more efficient or more effective, and it's certainly not about making Americans healthier. It is about allowing polluting industries in this country to have their cake and both eat it too by having absolutely unfettered ability to pour their pollution into our communities, and that's every community in the United States, not just black, brown communities, but white communities, suburban communities. This is going to affect everybody in the United States.
And Matthew, one of the announcements today said the agency is, quote, reconsidering the 2009 engagement finding. Help us understand what that means.
Yeah, that was the endangerment finding. That was the finding that basically unlocked the authorities of the Environmental Protection Agency and our federal government to start combating climate change. We have seen repeatedly how our climate is changing on a regular basis and having devastating consequences, not just in our country, but across the world. How it is causing hundreds of billions of dollars in damages every single year. They're taking us back to not even square one, to the one decision that allowed us to start to make the slightest progress that was then supercharged during the last administration through the Inflation Reduction Act and other regulatory progress that we made recently. It is taking us back in time, just like all these other decisions are taking us way back to an era when we were suffering from pollution in every part of this country.
And let me ask you now, finally, Matthew, about the environmental justice offices. Remind us about, define environmental justice for us and what you think will now happen as a result of these policies.
So environmental justice has worked for decades to make sure that every part of our country, especially those parts of our country that have not had the power to keep pollution out of their community and to bring in the positives of a clean environment, of green space, of natural resources. Those are black and brown communities. Those are indigenous communities. Those are low-income white communities. Those communities that have not had a power to actually be protected from environmental pollution. The environmental justice program at EPA worked every single day to make sure that those communities felt heard by their government and to bring their voices back into government to make it respond and serve those people too. And they are gutting that program today as we speak.
Man, we're gonna have acid rain. We're gonna have acid rain. We're gonna have dirty water and dirty air. I quit, man. Listen, I told you guys that this was a thing and that this was going to happen. It did. It's effective right now today. California is probably going to try to sue. Wouldn't surprise me. Bums. But What I find interesting here is there's no saving it. It's over. It's done. Finished. Finito. Complete. Zero. Bye. Catch you next time. So they can cry and complain all they want, but I'll say this again, and I've said it multiple times. It takes 60 semi trucks today to put out the same pollutants of a truck from 1988. Make that make sense. Like I said, you're going to see a lot of this crying and complaining about dirty air and dirty water and all this crap, because that's all they have to do is cry and complain. The other side has no policies. They have nothing but protesting and being lame. And that's sad. I told you, guys, a lot of you guys know I grew up in Boston. I grew up in Massachusetts. Okay? I grew up, and I don't like talking politics here, but I grew up as a Democrat. They don't have anything to say. They're just against whatever the other side is doing. And that's not the party you want to be. That's not the policies that you want to have if you think you're going to win anytime soon. So I'm happy. Let them keep being against everything that this administration's doing, because that's going to be it. They're done. It's over. You lost. And you're going to keep losing going down this path. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. I can't wait to see more crybaby fests on the news. I'm sure it's going to happen. But for all of you guys that have been waiting for this to happen, it's here. It's over. We don't have to deal with this crap anymore. I am totally looking forward to whoever the first manufacturer is. I'm telling you right now, if it's Ford, I'm buying a Mustang. If it's GM, I'll buy a Corvette, a truck, whatever. The first manufacturer that stands on business and comes out and says that they're going by these new rules and they're not putting emissions on their trucks, I'm buying their products. Period. End of story. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.